Welcome back to part 7 of the Adventures of Dumbbell-B. Now, got a lot done in the last episode where we got the TV up and working. I got the Bluetti Hub 1 installed on the back, and the 240 volt Shore Power is on the back, which is fantastic. And now I start getting into the more, this better go right, because it's a one-shot deal. And that is to put in my pop-up plug sockets. There's 8 sockets in here. I'm not going to need 8. I'm probably going to use one at a time. And I've got my A and C 45 watt USB outputs and a wireless charger on the top. Basically, that's going to go around and plug into the Apex 300, and then I'll just have some power up here on the work surface. I am not going to insert a induction hob there. I'm going to get one that just sits on the top and I can tuck it away nicely, and then I get to keep the nice oak top. But what I do have to do is get the big boy out, and I have marked the spot, and I am going to cut straight through there. Now I've got to cut through there, and then I've got to cut through the bottom of that drawer. Which might mean I'll not be able to fit a fridge in, because this is quite long. But there's always a cool box. But I do want this in. So let's go. I didn't go right down to the bottom, so we have to come up from underneath. Okay, so let's extend this drill bit and match the hole. So let's get the second one drilled. Okay, so yeah, that video was going to be way too long because I come unstuck drilling the other hole underneath, because the brand new drill bits I bought today, or the hole corers, de-threaded itself completely. So I had to use a jigsaw and some brute force. But anyway, boom, she's in. Happy days. I haven't wired it in yet. It's too late. And that really did get on my boobies a bit. So, yeah, gonna have a cup of tea and a think. But I'm happy it's in though. It's nice, it's out the way. You can charge your phone up. I will wire it in tomorrow. And I'll also hardwire the TV in. I'm not too happy with it just being plugged in the hub one all the time, even though it works fine. And it does exactly the job it's supposed to do. I'd rather run it through the fuse box. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay, so snip the end, separate the wires, pop it in. That's the plan. So with that said, that's that bit done. The next bit is the diesel heater. So I won't be putting it in tonight. That's the last thing I want to do now, but it's in here ready to go. So for now it is going to live where the fridge is going to live, because then I know that's the job I need to get done, because we want some heat in here. It is cozy though. I am pleased with it. And I found my attachment to my tripod, so we're moving up in the world. Right, enjoy. Part 7 will continue tomorrow. Okay, extending on in this 7th episode of the Adventures of Dumbbellby. Right, it's come to a moment where it's I'm excited and pooping it at the same time, because it's time to fit the diesel heater. Now I've gone for a Nordcap unit, 8 kilowatt. Yes, it's overkill. I get that now, because my original plan was I started buying bits and I was going to get a much bigger van. And then this one came up and I just loved it straight away. What's that on the roof? That one down there. So I have an 8 kilowatt heater, but I bought a really decent one, and you can control the heat and the temperature. Like most of them, you can do it from your phone indoors and all that kind of stuff. So here's the unit. Sexy unit. Air in, air out. I've got my exhaust in, fuel in, exhaust out. I'm good with that. I've got my base plate for underneath, so that's going to go underneath. Pretty simple. Just need to get a new set of hole cutters, because the set I bought yesterday failed, so we took those back. So get some cutters for that. My control panel. Now I'm going to mount the control panel in between the two headrests there. It's ideal. It's a nice little place. The heater is going to go underneath the passenger seat, just there on the left side. I'm going to put some hexa board in front, and I kind of went over the top because obviously I wasn't sure what van I was getting. So I happen to have a couple of boxes of parts. So I will have a vent for the hot air to come out, but I'm also going to put a vent on the other side into the footwell over there of air going in. So I've got a nice flow of air, which is really important. That comes with attachments, and I can send it all different ways. But I think I'm only going to need, for this van, it's only going to come out of one vent there, will be more than enough. Yeah, so I've got my control panel. I've also got a remote, a little handy little remote that came in the extras kit. So that's really good. Happy with that. What else do we get? So we've got, comes with a fuel pipe, pickup pipe. I'm not using that. I've got the one for the Ford custom diesel tank. So it comes with a little spare nipple. Just cut the end off, pop the blue pipe in, clip the nozzle over the top, and you're good to go. So we won't be using that. Back in the box, I've got my silencer. Straightforward. We'll be putting that in. Obviously, I've got what we got here? My exhaust out. There you go. That's my exhaust out. I will unkink all of that when I get around to using it. That's my exhaust out. My air intake, and again, silencer. That will go in there. I've got a piece of fuel pipe, and then it comes with this pipe. It doesn't look man enough, but that's what they send. So I'm going to trust them that that is enough. It goes in there, and then we'll be left with a load of clips to put that on and off with. And then we've also got our pump, which comes with a whole bag of bits, and in there is a nice silencer or the anti-vibration mount for the pump. I've got all my Jubilee connectors, filter, screws, everything we need, M6 bolts to bolt it down. And then what else we got? So in the spare bits, what I got was an extension for the controller, but looking at the main wiring harness, which is this one, comes out of there. Fuse that they got in there. Be nosy now, look at the fuse. Get that out. 20 amp fuse. Right. Cool. Obviously that's not long enough, but I still will run it through the fuse box as well. So I'll run a cable up and around. Obviously I'll get a decent sized cable. I think this is 6mm. When I say 6mm, it might be 4mm. But I'd get a decent size cable for that. Some automotive cable. I've got my connector for my controller. Now that's going to reach. So my super duper extended one can go back in the box. We'll be using that. That's my main plug to connect the heater. There's my earth. Again, I'll probably send that around to the fuse box anyway. That's what I want to do. I've got a nice hard wire into the fuse box, and then I've got my connector to go to the actual fuel pump itself. Only thing I'll probably do is I might heat shrink a bit over there, just a belt and braces on that, and that's it. So I guess my next step now is fitting it. So I've rambled on there for 6 minutes, I think. I did go somewhere to see if they'd fit it and allow me to film it and be part of it, but like a lot of places won't let you go into the workshop, so I completely understand. And they wanted £606 to fit it. The unit itself with the extras was a little short of 400 quid. It's 1,000 quid. The answer is no. For the sake of a few holes and a few connectors and getting on my back underneath the car once it's up on a couple of ramps, yeah, it doesn't look that difficult. I think the worst bit is the fuel tank, isn't it? Which I will drop down, cut the nipple off, put it in, connect it up, boom, out of there. That's my plan. Stay tuned. Okay, so I've jumped a few steps and didn't film it because all I was going to do was investigate where there was some damp, and well, we've gone a bit further than that, and we've taken the seat out, and I've had a good look underneath and where we can position the heater. I've marked out on the map what I need to cut out, and I've attached the bolts in the bottom. I've got the flange on there, air intakes that side, air outs that side, so that can just be out the way for a minute. Here's my plate. I'm going to fit it there, like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and buy a couple of hole cutters to match that size. And that way, rather than cutting out a big hole, I'm just going to cut out what I need and then seal the plate down, bolt the, put the pipes in, basically get it ready to be able to get it up in the air and get the filters and stuff like that put on. So that's my plan. Better keep going. Oh, we're down here. Okay. So, got it all marked out. I've cut my piece out here. I've used the plate to mark my holes. And now it's a case of drilling holes and sealing the plate down, bolting this in. I bought some extra washers. There weren't any washers for the nuts. So I bought some washers to fix them underneath. Let's go. Okay, so let's now just offer everything up. I don't want to put this down just yet because I want it to dry out. It's a little bit damp. So that's going to go in there. I'm going to seal that down. Let's just make a little cut in there. Get it with an angle grinder. That's where the cable is going to go. And that's going to be sealed in. Happy days. It's raining outside, so I'm going to call it a day or night. I'm going to go indoors, have dinner with Mrs. Dumbleby. It's her birthday tomorrow, so I might capture something there, going out getting some presents, and a meal in the evening, I think. But so what I've done is I've got it in, bolted down, sealed. I've got to drill a hole for the power to the fuel pump, but I want to go and get a grommet. There was nothing in the kit, and there's a hole you could put it through in the plate. I wasn't happy with that. It didn't look right, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to make a separate hole to put the feed through, keep it nice and tucked out the way. But yeah, I mean, weather dependent. I'm working all day tomorrow and spending some time with the wife, and then hopefully get this completed Saturday and Sunday. I need to pick up a grommet and a switch because I want to put a plate across here on the back of the seat, some hexa board, and I want to put a heater on and off switch in here, just so that we can isolate it from everything, so it doesn't have to be on, doesn't have to be live all the time. That's the plan. So that's the weekend job sorted. I'm really excited to see this fire up and go. My biggest regret now, the biggest fear now is dropping the tank. So I'm going to get up on some ramps and do that. It's probably sounds worse than it is. I think when it comes to the heater, because I did get a quote for £606 to get it fitted and £400 for the heater, so that's £1,000. I'm not paying that. You just got to commit to it really, and it's cutting the holes in the bottom. I've got some fire sealant as well, so I'm going to get underneath and get some fire sealant up in there as well. So it's a belt and braces on it. But until then, I'll be back at the weekend, get some more done, and get this episode finished and out. Well, here we are, Saturday about 11 o'clock. It's a big day today, so it's time to, well, I'll show you anyway. The van's up in the air, and we're going to plumb in the Nordkapp 8 kilowatt diesel heater. She's all in, very happy with that. She's nice and I'll move some stuff out of the way. She's in there, nicely sealed down. So the plan is to go underneath. I'm going to start with putting the air intake and the exhaust on, and then we'll move on to the fuel lines. Let's drop in the tank today. So not done that before, but get on with it. So there we go. We've got the van up in the air on the ramps. Plenty of room even to fit my fat ass under, and we will get firstly air intake. Okay, so here we have the air intake and the exhaust and the fuel. So let's uncover them. There you can see them uncovered. There you go. That was just a heat shrink I put on there. So we're going to just put our pipe on here. Okay, so air intake, fuel pipe, which I'm going to bring straight over this side, and then my fuel tank is just here. So I'm going to put a jack and a board under the fuel tank and then release it, and hopefully I can get to the auxiliary nipple in the fuel tank. So that's the next phase, is drop the fuel tank. We've got the exhaust in here, happy with that. I can actually twist and angle it out so it's blowing out that way, out the rear. Air intake at the front, pointing down. There's no chance of any water condensation build-up. Right, this is the bit I've been dreading. Here goes. We're going to loosen these off nice and gently. So let's go. So jack the car up with it. Wrench then. I'm hoping these bolts are really long. So that's what I could do with long bolts. Oh, let's try again. Oh, so close. So close. Don't like that at all. That is doing nothing. That is doing nothing. Oh. Okay, so I had some problems with the fuel tank. Only 2 of the bolts on the hangers came out and the other one just span. So I'll just stop there. I am going to go and get some help on that one. So I've come over to put the fuel pump and filter in, and it's where to put them. So I've got my fuel pump right up here. Here's my wire, which can go on there, like so. And then I'll pull the rest of that cable up and through by my air intake. I'm just gonna spin that pump around from there, spin that pipe there. Now I'm just gonna run a feed up to there, put my fuel filtering line here, which I could just put it straight in the back really, and go from there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that clear enough. Pump, filter, in line, 30-degree angle. Oh, all I need to do now is drop the tank. Well, it hasn't gone quite as planned as I would have liked it today. I've not been able to drop the tank because of that one bolt, so it's a cup of tea time. Always have a nice brew, always helps. So I'm gonna have a cup of tea, think on it, and see where we go from there. My neighbour said he might come out and give me a hand. I said we'll give it about an hour. But in the meantime, I've got a couple of things. I've got delivery in the shed from Cymru Campers Furniture. When I came away last weekend with the furniture, I left the my water tank and my waste tank and the hinge there, so that's in the shed, so I might get that in today. Different video. So the heater saga video is going to go on to episode 8. I need some help there. I need to get some help dropping that tank, whether it's with a neighbour of mine or I take it somewhere. But let me just show you what we got done. So we've got everything installed, the heater's installed, which is there. Put a little piece of pipe on there. I'm going to put a board across the whole thing, and then I've got to wire it in yet as well. I haven't done the wires, but then I have put the, can you see there? I've put the controller on the back of the middle between the headrests there. It seemed like the perfect place, so I've put that there. And then all I've got to do is wire that in. I need to go pick up some thicker gauge wire, so that I'm going to do on Monday. I want to make sure I've got the right stuff. I can get that from Mayflower Motors or Solar and Batteries, or Batteries and Solar, whichever it's called, down in Plymouth. So that's where I'm going to go for that. But until next time, please subscribe, please share, please like, leave some feedback, make it positive, make it friendly. No one likes a nasty comment just because they're warriors on the old keyboard. But I'm going to go in, get I'm going to have a bit of cake. If there's any birthday cake left over, which it probably isn't. Yeah. Till next time, we'll get the heater in and then it'll really be hot up.